As a photographer, it's always a struggle trying to find that perfect walk-around everyday carry lens. It has to be compact, lightweight, relatively affordable, and of course have good optics. These categories are highly subjective, but for me, this lens ticks a lot of those boxes, and it has been glued to my camera ever since I got it. The Rokinon 45mm f1.8 prime lens is one of the more interesting lenses for the Sony E-mount system. It doesn't seem like many people have even heard of this lens, and I've never seen anyone shoot with it in real life. But after trying it out, I knew I had to make a video because there is definitely something special about it. It's worth noting that you can find this lens under the Samyang or Rokinon brand name, depending on where you live and your market. And full disclosure, I purchased this lens with my own money to test and review because I am always looking for that perfect everyday walk-around lens. And in addition, I always try to make all my reviews as unbiased as possible, so give this video a thumbs up if you appreciate that. Now, what makes this lens so interesting? First off, the 45mm focal length is quite unique. It gives a bit more reach than a 35mm lens, but is still a bit wider than a 50mm. And on paper, it may not seem like a big difference, but when you're actually shooting with this lens, I find that my compositions and my framing are significantly different from both a 35 and a 50. And this isn't going to be a super technical review where I'm shooting test charts in a studio environment. Because this is meant to be a walk-around lens, I'm going to show you guys some POV footage where I use this lens with the A7R IV and do some street photography. This way you can see how the lens handles in various shooting scenarios in real life conditions. And throughout the video, we'll also review some of the raw files as well as the final edits. So let's get into the POV segment. At this location, I love the speckled light in the scene, and right off the bat, you can see that this lens has an interesting color reproduction, where the greens and reds are shifted slightly. Here's another example shot in the same area with very similar lighting conditions. And for this shot, I applied a filmic edit that works really well with those base colors. At the next location, we can see the setting sun and it was creating this nice warm glow. This is a crop of the full image, and you can see that this lens is more than sharp enough, even on the A7R IV. I really like the warm tones in this image and further enhance the color contrast with this edit. A few blocks down, I saw this really harsh light as the sun cut diagonally across the storefronts. A person just happened to walk towards me as I snapped this shot. Now this is a horizontal crop and you can see slight purple fringing at the top left. And throughout my testing, I found that this lens does tend to have those purple and green fringes. But after working with the files, it doesn't really bother me because it's easily removed in edit anyway. At the same spot, I noticed another person walking the other direction with the sun behind me. The autofocus was quick and accurate here. As you can tell from the raw file, it already has this edited look to it, and that could just be due to the uniform color palette, but there's definitely a look that this lens produces. With a quick and simple edit, I was able to enhance the greens and bring out the skin tones a bit more. At this next location, I am shooting directly into the sun and wanted to capture the person walking through the frame from my right. Unfortunately, the lens did miss focus, but look at the beautiful rendering of that sunset glow. Walking along the water, I wanted to keep testing this flare resistance, and once again, I was really impressed with this level of contrast in this image. The shot wasn't washed out at all. Next, I stopped down to f/22 to see how the sunstars can look. By no means is it a perfect sunstar, but it definitely has some character. And with an edit, I think it looks quite beautiful, and it's definitely one of my favorites from this photo walk. Here you can see I'm shooting through some leaves to frame the skyline in the distance. With this underexposed shot, the image already has a filmic look to it. And after a quick edit, I was able to bring out some more detail and color to make the buildings pop. Now this last location is a great area to test the autofocus. In my experience, the lens is quick to focus, however, the accuracy may not always be on point. For example, in this shot, nothing looks to be in sharp focus. The globe is slightly soft and so are the kids in the fog. But this is a really challenging situation, and the capture itself is still a keeper. For this next shot, you can see the green autofocus points were able to lock on to the bike, and the lens had no issues focusing here. Alright, so let me know what you guys think, and I'm especially curious to hear from those of you who own this lens, because am I crazy for liking it this much? For under $300, I think it's definitely an underrated gem and well worth the money. The build quality is super plasticky, but that also means that it's really lightweight. They really kept the design simple, and I'm fine with that for this price range. And as you guys saw, it's definitely not the most optically perfect lens, but I think that's what gives it that special rendering that you really can't find in modern glass anymore. And lastly, if you're interested in the presets that I used throughout this video, check out the link in the description below for my preset system. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to support my channel, please subscribe. Every little bit helps to keep this channel running so I can continue to make videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.